Thiago Motta has been sacked by Juventus. Was this the right move?
I always find these moves strange when it's like when you basically do everything you can to poach a coach from another club, and then it's like, oh no, yeah, we didn't like this.
We don't like him. Yeah. Well, funny enough, they are 1 point out of Champions League, and in the position above them in fourth is Bologna, his old club.
Exactly.
Where I think he showed signs of some stellar offensive ideas. And it was the first time in a long time that Bologna had been great again. You know, it took a while. I think you go back.
Baga is what
Yeah. Baga. Well, that wouldn't make it right. Maba. I think when you look at what he's been able to do at Juventus, it's been haphazard. It's felt like he's been sort of without an idea. There's been moments where you're like, you're supposed to be this offensive threat coach, and you know, we can't even score goals for large periods of time. And it feels hard to say that because, one, I think Thiago Motta is probably going to be one of the best Italian managers. He's part of that core of new, forward-thinking, aggressive, tactician Italian managers, which for a long time didn't exist. They had Catenaccio, and that's where they wanted to play. And he seems to be breaking them out of that. But our friend Massimo, who owns L'Industry, who I've hung out with countless times, he's a big Juventino, and he's like, no, we need Allegri back. Defensively stout. And I'm like, bro, it's boring. He's like, boring. He got us to a Champions League final. And I'm like, you just want... You don't want to win the beautiful way. You just want to win.
Right.
And you don't care if it's boring because you're familiar with it. But I think the sport of football has moved on from that. And I think Thiago Motta, maybe not, it didn't work at Juventus, but I think he will prove over time that he is one of those people that is moving the ball forward, like Inzaghi is doing, or De Zerbi is doing. Some of these other Italian managers that are coming with some, fun ideas.
It just feels like there's been Juve lost their last two matches, 3-0 and 4-0, to Fiorentina and Atalanta. So that already something's wrong, right?
Gasperini, another great manager, by the way.
Sure. But Juve feels like they've had this not rudderless season, but just like. How many draws have they had this? It was like a
They were undefeated, but it was all draws for a period of time. Yeah.
What's the? It doesn't show it here. But they've had 13 draws, 13 wins and 13 draws. It's just like it's remarkable. So
Juventus is supposed to be their super club.
Yeah.
So it's kind of difficult when, you've got Inter constantly at the top. Conte is in second place, and he's like, furious. So you can imagine how it is being in fourth.
Well, I feel like they want to go back to those glory years when they were winning. They won, 7 Scudettos in a row or whatever. And it's just even like, I watch Juve because I'm paying attention to the American players, and then seeing
which is what makes it so difficult to criticize them because Weston McKennie's captaining the team.
Yeah, but it's not. No, I disagree with that. It's not about difficult criticizing. It's like, but just seeing the players playing into all these different positions, like Weston McKennie having to have played in 4 or 5 different positions this season, kind of just
Tim Weah playing pretty much in every position.
Yeah, it kind of just suggests like something's up, and it's hard to say because it's like they're in 5th place. They can clearly, especially for Italian clubs that bring in, less money than Premier League clubs, Champions League spots are incredibly important. So the concern of like, you just lost 2 in a row, we can't, that's it. Like, bring the alarm. We have to make sure that we're in Champions League. So you can see the urgency there, but it just felt like an odd season, and it's a. I don't know, sort of like a different Serie A. Like the quality of the league is not so top heavy, right? As it used to be, especially with Juve winning.
It's much more. It's a little bit more balanced, a little bit more parity. Yeah. Here's my final point, and to go back to saying it's hard to criticize. It's like it's difficult to say this isn't good enough when the people that I'm rooting for are finding success within that system. You know what I mean?
It's decent.
It's decent. Yeah. It's not bad. But I think Juventus is one of those clubs that need to make a fast decision. They can't sit around and wait. You know what I mean? Let's see what happens by the end of the season. It's almost there's too much at risk for them not to make the Champions League. So I also kind of understand. But I think in the end, this will come to bite Juventus in the butt a little bit. Not by a ton, but I think you're going to find that Thiago Motta is going to move on and he's going to have a lot of success. And there's going to be a little what if. I feel like there's going to be some of that. And part of that is just that I think he is so expansive, so progressive, has such great ideas that his system was exciting to watch at Bologna. I don't know how it went wrong at Juve. I know the injuries have certainly plagued them, and it hasn't been great. I think Vlahovic being super streaky also hasn't helped. He's seemingly on the outs as well.
Yeah.
There seems going to be like a little bit of a rebuild. I don't know where these teams are going to continue to find money, but at the end of the day, it feels like, okay, maybe Juve makes it into the Champions League. The next person they hire, you're going to have to make a really bold choice on who you hire. Do you go back? Mancini's been rumored. There's, are you going to go back to a Allegri style? Do you bring in someone who might be a, rival club manager from the past? Or do you try to go out and find somebody completely brand new? I don't know what they do, but it feels like they're going to go super traditional. And it's going to be, I think, to the detriment of the style of football. Maybe the fans love it. Maybe I'm wrong and those fans don't care. But
yeah, look, the pressure is on, especially, I remember I was on my honeymoon and we rented a boat like by Amalfi Coast, and the captain, the skipper, was at a Juve tattoo, and he said that Juve was so important to him that he had told his wife, he's like, I won't ever miss a Juve game. This is the most important thing to me. It doesn't matter what we're doing. It could be a wedding, could be a funeral, doesn't matter. I have to watch Juve. And then I'm asking him like, oh, well, like, how's your family and everything, and how's the marriage or whatever? Because my wife was making jokes about, oh, he watches so much soccer, and he's like, oh, I got divorced.
Yeah. I think we all knew where that was going. Yeah.
So
that man's name, Thiago Motta.
So Juve fans are no joke. So whatever. All right. Shout out to everybody watching on OneFootball. We are the Cooligans. If you like what's happening here, go subscribe to our channel. The link is in the description. Go for it, everybody. We'll see you over there. Peace.
Love you guys.